So welcome viewers to the Aria Storo tournament, Randomizer tournament. Today we have JupiterClimb versus VaeVictus. So Jupiter, they won the tournament last year, and the speedrunner of the game, they hold multiple world records. VaeVictus is no slouch either. I think they're 7th on the leaderboard for their speedrun time as well, so they're also quite good at the game. So this should be a good race. We should be starting sometime soon. There we go. So check out the shop to see if there's anything good to pick up. They sell the casual clothes and the knife because we have a randomized shop to start with randomized prices. We picked up, I think, the Kuni Tuna, which is a pretty nice overhand weapon. Since this is an area randomizer, it's very nice to start with. You can end up in some difficult areas, so it's nice to start off with a decent weapon. VaeVictus picked up the same thing. We also have Malphite, a double jump start. It can lead to some tricky situations. You can be forced to go through some harder areas with that. You'll see them just taking the save here so that they're able to. So in this game, you can always pause and then sleep out of a room. So that you saw Jupiter check that entrance. That was the exit to the forbidden area. So it's only you have to open it from the other side to be able to come through. So I don't really expect them to be coming back this way. VaeVictus is making the interesting play of just heading right back to the beginning to do these double jump checks. We'll see if it pays off for him, if he can get something good or some progression ahead of Jupiter. Jupiter is sniping that soul. We see that there's a book there, I think, which you won't be able to get yet, but that's good information. And then he's also, VaeVictus is also picking up Kicker Skeleton. So Kicker is useful for a couple things. There's a couple of sequence breaks you can do with it, essentially. Like, it's never required to do anything, but you can use it to get access to some stuff a little bit earlier. And Golem is actually a really nice soul for Jupiter to find there. Adds 12 to the strength, so up the damage on this weapon quite a bit. Great armor. It's not a particularly useful drop, but you know, it happens. It says it increases strength by 120%, but by that it means times 1.2, so it's only 20%. Whereas VaeVictus got Succubus as a drop, which is actually really, really good. So for progression, we find Slide there from Jupiter. That's really useful. We'll see where he ends up going with that, if it comes into play. And book 2, we see is Persephone. I didn't see what dropped it, but if it matters, we'll check later. Another 2 souls up here, a Red Crow and Hippogriff. Wow. So this chapel's been pretty stacked so far. I think VaeVictus is following in Jupiter's footsteps here. He's going to come up on the chapel as well. So he will shortly be getting his Slide and his Hippogriff and his book 2. Jupiter passing up on, was that food or? It looked like it was beef curry, but maybe I mistook it. I feel like if it was that, he would have picked it up though. Such a nice healing item, but you know, he's really good at the game and doesn't need as much support as I would when I'm playing. And then also a curly behind Manticore here. Backdash. So Jupiter's going to be very happy to find that. They have great backdash movement. VaeVictus is picking up their Hippogriff. They're going to be making their way over to do these checks as well. That's interesting. I never tried sleeping out of that room before. I wonder if it's faster. So now Jupiter's going to be going back to do these checks that VaeVictus did earlier. See, VaeVictus picks up that beef curry, because that's pretty much a full heal. I did not see what the book that Jupiter just picked up says. So it's slime? Okay. I believe we already have slime, so, you know, that's good. I saw Jupiter using it. So, see a question in chat about the books. So the books tell you what souls are required. In this randomizer, we randomize the location of the souls, what location of items, what drops from who, and we also randomize the souls needed to unlock the true ending when you defeat Graham. So in the vanilla game, it's Succubus and Giant Bat and I think Flame Demon. In this case, it looks like it's Slime and Persephone and whatever book 3 will be. Oh, there's book 3 here. I didn't see that one. So that book 3, that's Peeping Eye. Okay. So yeah, this has the potential to be a very fast seed. They will still need Skula. So even if they find all the souls already, like this equipment is not really good for... this equipment is not good for the end of the game. I mean, Succubus could make it maybe doable, but this is... it's really kind of lacking. They do still need to find top floor. They do still need to find the gardens. So Jupiter's coming up to dance hall here. Almost vanilla. For Galamoth, which could be big, whereas VaeVictus was heading down the long corridor, and they found the reservoir there, which so that would normally lead to the clock tower. The reservoir is kind of a difficult area. You take a lot of damage, so I think dipping out of there is a pretty safe idea. You do have to be careful of their health here, though. I'll just save here so they can fill up, so it's not that big of a deal. But they did come very close to dying. So at this point, it's kind of a race for finding the last soul you need. Jupiter finds Black Panther. That's incredible. That's the best movement soul you can ask for. I think there is when there is a Black Panther. So the way Fuse has this set up is, I think when there's a Black Panther, there's a duplicate Black Panther as well placed somewhere. So VaeVictus might be able to chance upon that. VaeVictus is doing some nice backdash movement here, or blade dancing. So there's a question about the mana cost of Black Panther. It does cost mana, but it does not cost much mana, so it effectively doesn't. Like, it could be an issue in the study if you run into something that like curses your mana and drains it. You won't be able to use it. VaeVictus finds the flying armor, which is, I mean, it's still nice. And to find the duplicate Gravekeeper. You can still do some movement with flying armor. They're doing some nice backdash movement to speed things up a little bit for them. Obviously, it's no Panther, which is going to allow Jupiter to really clear through a lot of stuff quickly. VaeVictus checking this backdash room here, which usually at Find is pretty often has something pretty good in it. And it has Skula, so that's VaeVictus is the first person to find Skula. I think that's typically duped as well. Oh, there's Peeping Eye. So I guess someone was saying that they already had it, but I guess that's incorrect. Oh, below her. Oh, geez. So we are still looking for Persephone, though, I believe. Or that we had, or did we find Persephone earlier? I didn't notice it. Yeah, Persephone is the vacuum skill where you suck up HP. It's kind of funny looking. So Jupiter going for this Balor fight, doing a 19 damage per hit, but he's getting in double hits here to really speed it up. Because VaeVictus is going through Headhunter, which can actually be a rather tough fight. All things considered, I feel like it's harder to avoid damage against Headhunter than it is against Balor. Just Balor has so much HP. They do both make it out of there. VaeVictus just finding money. Although killing Headhunter does unlock some of the shot. Or is it... Yeah, I believe it's Headhunter and Death. There's actually a lot of Irish mythology stuff in the Castlevania series. Like, I know that the Claim Soleil, as we like to call it. Alright, so Jupiter happens upon the top floor there. because he's checking this entrance, and then we'll maybe go back. Yeah, the Claim Soleil is like an Irish mythology weapon. It's not pronounced the way I'm saying it, but I feel the actual way to pronounce it is like cleave. It's like cleave slush or something like that. But if I started saying that, nobody would understand me. Student Witch Soul, that's nice. They aren't going to be using it, but it's a cute soul. It's one of my favorites. And a Death's Robe, that's an incredible find. So it'll pair well with the curly rush soul that they got earlier. So Jupiter is still looking for Persephone and is still looking for Skula. But I like this play from him to explore the top floor. There's a duped Curly, that's interesting. I didn't know that the Rush Soul could be placed twice like that. Maybe one was placed for the progression item and one was just placed randomly. That's interesting. And then there's Death here, which will be a relatively quick fight for Jupiter. So VaeVictus happening upon the dance hall as well now. Jupiter picking up that Tsuchinoko soul if they want to buy some stuff from the shop. They're really speeding around the castle at this point. So hopefully VaeVictus comes across the Black Panther soon. So Jupiter is leaving the top floor here. I guess they're gonna go explore the corridor here for some checks they haven't seen yet, which I believe VaeVictus has already gone that way. Yeah, so that's the big advantage that VaeVictus has currently. VaeVictus has Skula, so that could let them do some of the, it could let them do any underwater checks. It is interesting though now, since we're playing with Aria Randomizer, there's less stuff locked by Skoola than you would think. Alright, so there's the Black Panther for VaeVictus. They're going to be happy to get that. They can start speeding around. They really wanted that tasty meat. They're close to dying for it, but they got it. Right, so this is a check that so VaeVictus found that entrance, but left quickly because there wasn't what they needed there. So that's a Cato Bleed Pass. That's not what we're looking for right now. We're looking for Persephone and maybe a Skoola duplicate placement for Jupiter. I like this, checking the waterfall here. There's a few very quick checks you can do. I didn't even see what was in that room. So there's Persephone. Well, that's incredible. So now Jupiter's just looking for Skoola. So Jupiter's going to avoid pretty much any check that... Well, he's going to be able to avoid all the underwater checks looking for a Skoola soul. So we know where 1 is in the study. What we're looking for now is for VaeVictus to come and find Persephone over in the reservoir there, either by checking out the waterfall or just going into the eastern reservoir area. It was just the great armor and the Legion spot, so that's pretty quick. They did already find Legion and Belore, so it couldn't be anything that bad. Got a nice bowl of ramen there. I think VaeVictus is gonna get the peeping eye here. VaeVictus really needs some armor, I think. Everything almost kills them all the time. So VaeVictus is going to be going for the Belore kill here, I believe. Looked like maybe they're considering not doing it. I do believe we are still looking for the gardens as well. So at this point, I feel like maybe the gardens entrances are going to be at the top of the reservoir. So yeah, Jupiter about to find that Skoola now. This is a fast seed, oh man. So it's a 24-minute go mode. That's true. It could be behind the waterfall. I'm not sure what entrances we're missing here. I think one half of the forbidden area is missing. So in that case, I would probably maybe prioritize the left-facing door in the reservoir, or you check the waterfall, which it seems like Jupiter is about to do, because this could just be a rune ring. Wow, Jupiter came back just for the rune ring. I like that. One of the best accessories in the game. So Jupiter's selling some stuff. Let's see if they buy anything good. So a Khaled bulk, that's pretty comfortable to use on for most of the game except for Chaos. So Khaled bulk and the Balmung. We have Jupiter going to Graham at 26 minutes. And then we'll see how fast it takes him to figure out where the Gardens is after this. VaeVictus grabbing that other book. Alright, so they're going to be able to see all the souls they need now, and I believe they're just looking for Persephone, which is going to be in the Eastern Reservoir. There's Jupiter making quick work of this Graham Phase 1. It's where you learn to count. So you see switches to his required souls and gets the confirmation he has the right souls on and can go back to his better souls. VaeVictus also picking up that Khaled bulk. They still need some armor though, they're taking so much damage. It's fine if you don't get hit. There has been like a couple of little locations where it's really slowed them down. Alright, let's see where Jupiter's heading here. Okay, so it looks like he's going right to the reservoir. He's checking the waterfall entrance first. So I think this one is a 50-50 of it being the forbidden area and being gardens. So what it was a shortcut to the top of the reservoir. That's pretty good. I didn't even think about that. So was VaeVictus farming the Minotaur to get the... Was it Persephone? Or are they trying to farm something else? Ah, slime, okay. Yeah, Jupiter had that for a while. Maybe Jupiter just got a lucky slime drop? Oh, right. So it must have been that one check that's on the way to Dance Hall. Which I think is, when you have double jump, I think it's worth it to go try to snipe that soul. You see it paid off pretty well for Jupiter there, since it was required. We have this excellent Julius fight going on here. See him trying to sneak in rush souls after Julius does his little dash back move. So VaeVictus coming to farm the rock armor. I mean, that's a pretty good decision. Like, this is a fast kill. Could be quite a bit faster than going to search around the whole castle for it. So it makes it to phase 2 of Julius already. Whereas we have VaeVictus, who's going to be heading to the top floor now. Hopefully they find that death throat, because I believe that was just right across from Graham. But it was interesting. We saw VaeVictus go for some farming strats, whereas Jupiter more explored the castle. So we're already past Julius here on Jupiter's side, 32 minutes. Gonna expect them to be using probably Balmung for the last fight. They might start with a Kunitsuna though, because you can get some double hits. So Jupiter not getting hit so far in the Forbidden Zone. Or in the Chaotic Realm. It's a lot harder than you would think to do that. Where's VaeVictus going? Do they just want full health before heading to the top floor? That's fine. It's a dangerous area. Can only take a couple hits. So yeah, he's happy to find that gold armor. That helps him out quite a bit. Whereas Jupiter heading right into chaos here. He's fighting the statues. A mana prism. It's a great find for Vae. So he has a Vijaya for the multiple hits on the statues, and he might also use this on the eyes, but I'm not sure yet. I might expect like a 2-eye strategy with this. And then you have Balmung and Curly to do damage to the core after. Yeah, so we're seeing him go with the Vijaya to take out the eyes with those nasty, I think, triple hits. VaeVictus picking up their second Curly there. I thought VaeVictus had everything. Maybe they're looking for some good equipment. With Melon, that'll help. So yeah, we see him going with the Balmung here, doing 26 damage a pop. That's really not so bad. Because it's quite difficult to poke at the upper eyes without having a great sword, like either the final sword or using the Claim Soleil. I think those are the only two weapons where it's really viable to try to go for more than two eyes. This is incredible. This is looking that it's going to be under 37 minutes for Jupiter. That's a crazy time. Oftentimes, you're watching these races. If you watch some of the other races, they were an hour and a half. Some of that is from the early Panther, which speeds up seeds incredibly. But there was just so much progression. And there you have it, Jupiter taking down Chaos in 36 minutes and 33 seconds. GG to Jupiter. Oh man. That was a clinic. VaeVictus has been playing well. Like they're still on pace for sub 45. It is a best of 3, so there will be a race following this one. But what a difference compared to those earlier races we were watching. So Vae playing it safe here on Graham. Yeah, of the tournament so far, this is definitely the fastest we've seen so far. I think you'd be hard pressed to get a faster time than this. Ooh, VaeVictus takes a death there. It's just a little bit too close to that beam. Yeah, I'd say the biggest difference here was Jupiter got that early Panther, and that made up for the majority of the time difference here. Unfortunately, VaeVictus wasn't able to find wherever the Panther dupe was. Which I don't think we saw Arena either. So would Arena be the other side of Gardens? So looks like VaeVictus is giving this another shot. I mean, we have a lot of time blocked out for this, so you know they could do like 10 attempts. No, they were in Clock Tower earlier. There was Vanilla Death. Jupiter found it behind the Wrecking Ball. And both of them had made the smart decision to just nope out a Legion earlier. He wasn't there for long, you know, it goes by in a blink when you have Panther. Alright, so making quick work of the first phase of Graham there, heading into Graham 2. Hopefully this one goes a little bit better. We have Jupiter in the chat here to hang out with us while we're waiting for Vae to finish this up. GG again to Jupiter, who really put on an incredible time, 36 minutes and 33 seconds. Oh, sorry about the audio. Give me a sec. I'll pull up the link. Looks like someone switched it ahead of me. It's my fault. I didn't have the commentator controls open when I should have. So Vae finished with Graham now. He's going to be heading to find the gardens. Okay, they're going to be taking a shopping trip first, it looks like. And we'll see if Vae has figured out where the gardens is. There's some expensive potato pancakes, but they're probably worth it. So he gets a few. That should be able to help him through. And then if he runs into trouble, there's always the Succubus Soul as well for Chaos, which we're seeing numerous runners already do. So Vae looking around, trying to find out where it is, where it's going to be. I think they'd have to know that it's Reservoir at this point, but they might not remember where Reservoir is. They never ended up exploring that. They ended up farming for their Persephone Soul. So they don't have it or the teleporter. I don't really remember where the reservoir is either, so we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Might have been like this clock tower exit. Yeah, there we go. So let's see. We have 4 to check. Only one of them is the correct one. They almost double backed for that soul, and they remembered they didn't need it. Checking out just a couple more like quick item checks along the way, it seems like. They might just be grabbing a heal from Mina here. Yeah, better safe than sorry. They might be finding the Persephone soul as well. So this was the forbidden. I guess they didn't remember what that was, or maybe they hadn't checked it at the beginning. Now they're going to be poking around the reservoir. So we know that the waterfall leads to the top of the reservoir, which will then bring them to the other entrance. So it'll be pretty quick at this point. Although they may find the Persephone soul now. And I'm sure pretty happy to find that high potion. Along with this nice rune ring pickup, which will then help just lead them right to the gardens. And they'll pick up that super potion as well. So VaeVictus already has Persephone because they farmed it off of the rock armors. Which was pretty smart. It didn't take very many to get it. They actually employed the farming strat twice in the seed, for both slime and for Persephone. Slime was off of the Minotaurs, and then Persephone was off of the rock armors. Alright, and there's the gardens. So VaeVictus will be approaching Julius very quickly. See if he takes a save before or not. Yeah, better safe than sorry. It's a dangerous fight, and you don't really want to use up all your healing items before chaos. Making nice use of the Calabalg, and then so you kind of jump in and force Julius to whip high, and then you can duck under and get the rest of the hits in. And it's every 4 hits Julius will flinch during phase 1. So having a cancelable weapon, or like this, is really good for Julius. You can have a pretty safe fight. obviously, you know, it's still Julius. He still hits like a truck. But you can see how you can have quite a high DPS. Just moving into phase 2 Julius here. Then there's just the rush to the boss through chaos and the chaotic realm. Gotta be a little careful here though. It's a bit harder to manipulate Julius in the second phase, and he uses his sub-weapons depending on your position. Like if you're on the ground like that, he'll use holy water. If you're in the air, he'll throw an axe. If you're too far away, he'll throw a cross at you. Makes quick work of Julius 2 there, and now he's going to be going through this final rush. Still on pace for a good time, well above average. Or well below average. Picking up that extra Calid ball, can dual wield. I kind of fall into those traps myself, where you just see something and you're like, oh, well, that's a good thing, I want that. Getting poked by that skeleton there, so they're gonna fill up their health here at the save point. It's pretty hard to actually make it over that giant skeleton. There's a blue soul there. Imp. I hope the imp was worth it. And those final guards are, or is it Shadow Knights? They're really what you want to avoid getting hit by in this end part. Because those can really ruin your day and make it really dangerous. So let's see what strat VaeVictus goes for here as well. I wouldn't be surprised to see the same thing with Jaya's for the statues and the eyes, and then Baldon for the core. It's really making quick work of these statues with that weapon. A multi-hit weapon like this is really pretty much the ideal. And I always like killing the yellow statue first to get the soul back. In this case it was Golem, so it actually upped his damage. Ooh, taking combo damage here. So it's so easy to get knocked into one of the balls, and then that knocks you into more stuff. So we've got 2 eyes down. So it looks like he's going to be going for multiple. He might be going for 3 eyes. So multi-hit weapon isn't really great for the core because it has such high defense, whereas the eyes and the statues have no defense. It takes so much damage. I like these hippogriff strats. Good and simple. Works out well that he's getting a multi-hit on the top eye as well from that. I'm not sure if VaeVictus actually picked up something like the ball lung. They might not have it. They might just plan on using the Vijaya for the whole time. Oh, took a couple quick hits there, but manages to get a healing in. And the 4th eye is down. You see getting, was that 11 damage? Trying the Callid Bog, but you take less damage from that. Gonna have to be careful here. So there's some curly strats. We'll probably see a couple of those, and then we'll probably use the Mana Prism. Which I'm pretty sure they picked one up. Unless they already used it a little bit earlier. They're down to their last. I think they only have 1 potato pancake left. Doing a good job of avoiding those spikes. Yeah, you see the big difference here was Jupiter having that ball lung to be able to really start hitting the core a lot earlier. It's looking pretty rough here. He manages to take down the core. It was looking really tight. So GG to VaeVictus. That was scary. So stay tuned for the next match, which we should be having sometime. Let me see if it's coming up right now or if there's going to be a little bit of time. Alright, so we will be taking a little break. Just like 5 minutes. So get your water, go to the washroom, any of your little need, take care of any small things you have to, and we'll be back real shortly for match 2. So match 2 will be starting shortly. So hold on to your horses, get ready. So the race time has started, but let's see here. We'll take a bit of time for it to get started on the other side. Alright, so we have them starting. Let's see what they have in the shop this time. So it didn't sell for too much. So it looked like maybe Jupiter bought the Asafune, which is pretty much one of the very best weapons you can use to clear the castle, whereas VaeVictus went with the Ascalon, which is better for fighting bosses with. It's a giant worm. Not particularly useful of a drop. So VaeVictus checking the entrance before saving. It's the arena. That's dicey. Especially with its location there, you don't even really need to worry about unlocking the teleporter because it's so easy to come back to. So Vae putting his Ascalon back on. Getting an imp drop, which we'll see. We'll see what our required souls end up being. And there is Malthus right there behind Creaking Skull, so they'll be able to check a couple entrances. Again, Jupiter making these quick checks that I can't really see a lot of the time. It was just a coin, so it's fine. So there's a blue soul here, poking at it with the tiny devil for Manticore. That's a incredible rush soul. It's the pretty much the highest DPS you can get in the game. It leads to Clock Tower, so this is interesting. We'll see if they go right up for the boss fight. As long as it's not like Legion, this is going to be a reasonable boss fight. So it's a Headhunter, which is honestly an actually fairly difficult fight. Without backdash canceling, it could still be quite difficult for Vae. Whereas Jupiter's Asafune is easier to poke from afar and stay safe while you're using it. really avoiding those. Oh, well, he took a hit there, but did a good job up until then avoiding those flame heads. Getting a couple hits in with the Manticore there, so that's big. Because this is really the annoying part of the fight. So yeah, VaeVictus just decides to nope out of Headhunter here. Because with the Ascalon, it was going to be an annoying fight. We're going to risk dying. Oh no. Oh no. I've never seen something punish someone so hard, so fast, so early in the game. And it was completely reasonable to make the play that VaeVictus did. Luckily, there's usually a duplicate Panther, so hopefully that comes up quickly for them. It's looking like this could be another Speed Demon Seed here. So there's the garden, so we won't have to go looking for this after. I think it's also a good area to find pretty early, because there's a lot of checks that are essentially just on the way. You don't have to go out of your way to find the items very much. So getting a Veil drop off that amp, that's pretty big. There's flying armor, which isn't necessary for Jupiter anymore. VaeVictus will probably at least be able to make use of it. Yeah, so Jupiter making the save there in case there's nothing at the end of Gardens. Skipping out on whatever gun that was. So yeah, this is a dead end as well. So we will likely see Jupiter reset out of here unless this is something big. And it's just rotting meat. You know, not that important. I suppose the Gardens just ended up having the flying armor then, which not particularly useful in this case. So VaeVictus might make the decision to kill Headhunter on their way back. Another thing is Gardens is a very long area, so Jupiter made quite a bit of distance between them by having the Black Panther earlier. So Jupiter finding Hippogriff there, already flight. See if he chooses to explore the top floor while VaeVictus is making their way through this boat room. I've always been a fan of doing the top floor as early as you can, or as early as it's viable. Jupiter finding an Ascalon of their own, so which could come in handy given some of the harder boss fights later, especially if they find backdash, so they could backdash cancel the slashes, make it quite a bit more usable. So VaeVictus going for the Headhunter kill here now. But this Headhunter fight is not going to be free. You're going to have to play it very carefully, especially the last phase. Especially dangerous to get poisoned like that, but VaeVictus makes it out by the skin of their teeth. 20 health left, he's gonna be rewarded. Now let's see if they're able to make up some of this distance Jupiter put between them. Looks like Jupiter is noping out of the top floor now after having explored it all. We're going to be heading to the quarters, the inner quarters, see what boss is over here. Jupiter picking up Curly. Now they have 2 rush souls. Meanwhile, VaeVictus is going to go find their Hippogriff. So Jupiter really making use of that Asafune's landing cancel. It's a lot easier to get a lot of quick hits in. Makes quick work of death there. You gotta remember to be careful though at the end of the death fight, because that scythe when it's coming down can hit and kill you. Should probably be one of the sadder ways to die. VaeVictus decides not to go through death. So this is an interesting bit of divergence. So Jupiter does find backdash there in that succubus room or Lilith room. Now VaeVictus decides to head back and check out the top floor. Gonna get another Ascalon. You definitely want to come do this, at least to get the teleporter. There's the second Panther. It's in that slide line. Oh, VaeVictus gets comboed there. I mean, top floor is dangerous. That's why you see people decide not to go through it right away. It's very easy to take a couple hits and die, especially if you don't have good armor yet. You can manage if you have Hippogriff and if you have double jump and Panther, but it's not free. There's Peeping Eye again. And we saw that there's a book behind the waterfall, so we're gonna have to wait to see what that was. Here, VaeVictus getting that teleporter. They're probably gonna heal up and come back. Or they might leave it for later as well, which would be safe. Get Skula for checking out the start. And Jupiter seems to be heading there right now as well. And Giant Bat, which is still useful at this point. There's a couple of areas. They don't have slide yet, so it can help them do a couple of slide checks if it's necessary. So it could also get them through the part in the dance hall or the study. And then there's that one arena trial where you can skip through the DDR with it. So Jupiter is going to have a bit more in his shop compared to Vae here, because he also killed Death. Yeah, Olroc's suit is very good armor. Like, it's not top tier armor, but it's very, very comfortable to finish the game on it. It looked like a ball nun that he just found. So honestly, in terms of weapons, Jupiter is set for the rest of the game. So VaeVictus going over to check what's behind the wrecking ball as well. It looks like Jupiter's going to be checking this entrance and possibly doing the eastern reservoir. So there's the chapel. So they're choosing to explore the chapel instead of the eastern reservoir, and really this is not a bad idea. There's some quick checks here, and you can get the teleporter. And you'd always be able to take that teleporter to come do the eastern reservoir later. Whereas VaeVictus is choosing to go through the study here, which could be interesting. It could be big. What they have here that Jupiter did not is giant bat, I believe. So they would be able to come out the bottom, and if that is required, it could end up being required to go that way. So we'll see what's over there. So we see that the MP cost of the Black Panther coming into play. There's a Milliken sword there for Jupiter, a bit late for it to be useful. Leaving the Vijaya up there. Gets the flesh golem by using the tiny devil to hit through the wall. Vae makes a smart decision to just leave Legion alone. Alright, so let's see what's behind here. Oh no, it's vanilla. That was the worst thing for VaeVictus to find. It's definitely not what anybody wants to see there when you're playing Aria Rando. Well, Jupiter found a couple of souls in the eastern reservoir, so it's better to just keep them than to potentially have to go back. And it can be so hard to remember where you got a soul if you start resetting them. There's a Creaking Skull Soul. We might see use from that as well for some DPS on some of the bosses. Some real vanilla strats. So Minotaur for Book 3. Looks like Were-Tiger drops. I don't think we've seen the Minotaur Soul yet. But I haven't been paying that close attention to the canisters. So now we're seeing the arena check. This is actually a pretty dense location. Especially if you aren't... Like, it's dense if you don't do the trials. Like, just these checks up here and the checks at the top left, it's pretty quick. Even gets a viewer soul out of that. We're going to be hoping that he doesn't have to go through that red Minotaur hallway. Although he does have a rush soul if it's required. There's this nice little save split here as well. Typically you go up here, do these checks. leaving that bowl of ramen behind. So that's just a kicker skeleton so far. And Gallon Moth, so he's not going to be resetting that. Oh, so VaeVictus finds a Minotaur in the dance hall. So that's good. So we have at least one soul. We probably have some of the others as well. I feel we found a lot of blue souls. It's likely they already have it, but they do need the book. Unless you have some amazing weapons to cut through Graham really quickly, guessing isn't really a viable strategy so much anymore. Jupiter turning around for that Death's Robe. Flame Demon drop. That's a really good red soul to have. And you see VaeVictus going out of their way to pick up some of these smaller items, just so you have more to sell in the shop and get potentially some good healing items. Jupiter did not want to go back through that room. That's fair. I don't think anybody wants to go through that room at all, never mind twice. As VaeVictus is getting caught doing some of the slower checks here in Dance Hall. Picking up a school of dupe, I think. Destroying that big golem. Finding, there's a ninja tabby behind there. So there was big golem in Arena, and in Dance Hall we have Balor. So they swap places. VaeVictus choosing to go through the fight here, though. I mean, you're already committed. You've already come down here for... You've already come down here. You have to go through the fight. You can't come all the way to check what this boss was and then leave. Switched off that Ascalon because it's just kind of awkward to use, and it's much easier to get these quick hits in. Especially when his hand comes down, he's able to get in more DPS than he was before. So there's Arachne, which was at the top floor, so they both have that. They both have the red soul. So now we're just looking for the blue book. Jupiter doing these couple of checks here. I didn't catch what he got on book 2 there. Oh, Jupiter doing the Were-Tiger farm. I don't even remember where they got the final sword. So Were-Tiger is what drops Minotaur. He has the other two already. We'll see how long this farm takes him. And there's the Minotaur soul. So Jupiter's going to be able to completely skip the dance hall in this case, whereas Vae still needs to find that blue book. Jupiter heading right up to top floor now. You know, really lagging behind their last seed where they had go mode at 24 minutes instead of 29 and a half minutes. Like 20% more time. So we're going to be seeing some Manticore strats here on Graham. Oh, gets a fortunate teleport right there to start. Able to get in a lot of hits on the Manticore. Switching over to Minotaur here. Play the counting game. I would probably count to like 20 here and then switch to the required souls. Really showing off the reach of that final sword. Getting those double hits and then getting the single hits while he's just crouching, avoiding the hands. Not even checking what's behind Graham. Doesn't need it. So Jupiter going off to find the gardens. Not sure what the best way to do it here would be. I might... Have they been through the reservoir yet? If they have the reservoir teleporter unlocked, they could come up that way. Here it looks like the other one is through Clock Tower. Which is honestly probably a little bit faster than the route I suggested. So Vae's still looking for the blue book. Looks like they're going to be running through the forbidden area here, which is hopefully we'll have a blue book duplicate for them. Meanwhile, Jupiter going right in to fight Julius here. Gets an undying. Interesting. Jupiter making this final sword Julius work somehow. It's very difficult to use these great sword weapons on Julius. Really doing a great job of avoiding Julius while swinging this huge sword and getting some good Manticore hits in as well. I believe phase 2 is almost done here. Yeah, there you go. There's the scream. So Vae's gonna see the waterfall here. I think was this where there was a book behind the waterfall? Yeah, so there's the book 3. I'm not sure if Vae found another one or not. But when they find that from the other side, they'll know that they have Minotaur. Jupiter takes a hit from the Shadow Knight, but luckily still had a good chunk of HP. So taking the save and heading right into Chaos here. See, with the final sword, they're going to do quite a bit of damage to these statues. They're going to go down very fast. If you're able to hit more than one statue, you're able to get double hits. It really goes through them so quickly. We did take a hit there because it's just like the nature of the backdash movement and swinging a great sword. Makes it through the statues quickly. We'll see how many eyes that Jupiter goes for here. He might be going for a 4-eye or a 3-eye strat. It's so easy to just hit that top eye here when you have a sword like this one. Oh, I like this. Getting hits on the core and the third eye. That was a good strategy. I like that a lot. And some Manticore hits just for good luck here. GG to JupiterClimb, finishing 38-11. That's another really strong time. So that was crazy. So we'll see if Jupiter decides to join us here. So that was two very fast seeds from Jupiter in a row, both of them under 40 minutes. So looks like Jupiter will be joining us here. And here he is. Welcome, Jupiter. GG. So those were two crazy seeds. You played them both so well.
Hey, how's it going, Simo? Yeah, I'm definitely very happy with my play today. I caught some lucky breaks, especially in this seed. Panther being behind Headhunter was quite a break.
Yeah, that was incredible. VaeVictus decided to put off Headhunter there for a second because they chose to buy the Ascalon instead of the Asafune. It was a bit more of an awkward fight. So they did they checked out the clock tower and the gardens without Panther before coming back and killing Headhunter.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That fight's actually very difficult early on, especially if you've sold your armor. So it's quite easy to die. Ascalon without backdash is not a great choice. So I think that routing makes sense. Just happened to work out this time.
So how did you feel about the seeds in general?
Well, obviously they were both zip seeds. The way it works in the new updated randomizer is you're only going to find Panther 70% of the time. And not only did we find it both seeds here, we found it early. So that's a little atypical, but I think they were both a lot of fun. Can I just point out, by the way, towards the end of this seed here, I was showing off a somewhat ambitious save warp strat, where I saved an arena, right, and then I kind of zipped all around the castle doing a couple of one-off checks. That kind of strategy I think is actually really good in Aria, because there are a lot of things where the backtracking, even with Panther, adds up to a lot of time sink. So if you're able to find a good spot to just check and reset out, that's something I would recommend.
Right, and it is one of the areas I think that's actually closest to a teleporter from the save point.
Yeah, it's right there. It's super easy to get back.
I also liked your 3-eye strat on Chaos 2 there, where you're using the final sword to both hit the core and take out the third eye. I thought that was very well done.
Yeah, that's the Podolak strat, named after Podolak, who is a top Aria speedrunner. In most categories, we use that 3-eye strat with the claim, but as you can see, it works just as well with final sword. Actually, arguably better because of those double hits on the core. So yeah, pretty clean fight, I think, overall. A couple of hits, but not too bad.
So VaeVictus here is still looking for their second book, but I believe they have everything else at this point. Just needs to find that book that tells them they have Manticore.
Well, I'll say this much. Vae is a top player, really great all-around Castlevania speedrunner. So I was fortunate to come out with a win today, and I think Vae has the potential to make a deep losers bracket run.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I see that they're just on the leaderboard. I think they're like 7th in Aria Soro, so they're really no slouch. I really expect them to do well. And I know they were one of the first people, I think, to start running the Rando as well. Like there's some old videos.
Yeah, I think back on the back in the old version of the randomizer. Yeah.
So I expect them to do well. But again, GG's. I will tell everybody here to follow JupiterClimb. Jupiter streams so much, and you should check out his stream. Many world records, plays many different Castlevania games.
Well, thanks so much for having me, and thanks again to SpeedGaming. I'll go ahead and log off here.
All right, thank you so much for coming in for the interview. Again, GG's for the races. They were incredible. Have yourself a great day.
Thank you.
All right, so Vae, going on. Looks like they're going to be trying to finish it up here. I don't remember where the blue book itself was. There's only so much of the castle that exists. Yeah, so there's the gardens that they passed through earlier. So this will actually bring Vae around to the clock tower. So I imagine that they're actually about to get those checks. You do have to be careful a little bit with the panther movement here. It's very easy to just dash into the spikes. Yeah, so here we see VaeVictus going to check the 2 clock tower checks here, see if there's anything good. We know that there's something. Here we got book 2. Now we're checking it. Okay, I'm not sure if they picked up... Is it book 3 they were missing or book 1? I know book 3 was behind the waterfall, which Jupiter got by coming from the other side. I didn't see if they found that exit. Taking some hits on those spikes. This room can be really quite annoying. Just choosing to reset out, because you don't really need the book. I don't remember where book 1 was. Oh, it's the Galamoth lock section of inner quarters? Okay, that makes sense. So that's in the arena. So it looks like Vae's about to head to the arena here, and then they will probably be doing... I don't imagine that they'll get Galamoth and dip out, but it could happen. Like, I'm expecting them to just full clear the arena here. You know, people always... it only takes like a second, so people always go and unlock that teleporter, but typically you just take the teleporter out. So it doesn't really matter going in there. I mean, you could also make an argument for it for just resetting the room in case you activated some enemy AI. Ooh, dashes right into the axe. That's one of the reasons people don't really like going through that room. You can take so much damage from those red minotaurs. Usually what I see is people like to use a rush soul to get through there. It's a lot safer. Or if you're just looking for a soul, you don't even have to go through the hallway because you could just snipe it from the other side. Alright, so they're running back. They know something's gotta be here. Yeah, I'm seeing some comments about Jupiter's time. It's an incredible time. So it's an early Panther seed. Jupiter had the Panther like 4 minutes into the seed. So that really enables you to get through as quickly as possible. You must have missed also the first seed, which was 36 minutes. But in that one, they're able to skip a couple areas of the castle, along with it being an early Panther seed. This one was much closer to a full clear of the castle. So, it's a whole extra minute and a half. Minute and 40 seconds. So yeah, we're gonna see Vae go through the trials here. There's really no reason to just leave here and go for Galamoth immediately. Having fun with his wrecking ball here. You have to hit it in the right direction once it's past its halfway point. He's able to get the death robe from that, so he's probably pretty happy. It's the best armor in the game. So he didn't save after getting the death's robe. He is skipping the worst room trial. Maybe just hoping whatever he's looking for is behind Big Golem here. That's just the Ninja Tabby. Leaves it, decides he doesn't want that. Here again, we're going to see using the bat to just go through the wall here, because for some reason there's a one-tile gap in the wall here. It's a well-programmed game. So Vae resetting here, so they're going to lose that Death's Robe, I think. Unless they go back for it. Here, this great fun room. I would expect to reset there as well. You need something really good to be there if you want to keep that. So let's see where he decides to head first. So he got Galamoth, so we'll see if he goes right for Inner Quarters. He's thinking about it, but he knows he'll have to fight death if he goes this way. Which would be beneficial for Vae, because I think that would unlock the final sword in the shop. Deciding against it, though, it's going to look for the other entrance. So I guess ended up a little bit lost there. It's going to take a heal here, and then we'll see where they decide if they check another entrance or not. It would not take long for them to kill death on this equipment. And it is nice to try to think of like the optimal route, the fastest way to do something, but oftentimes in a rando like this, I feel like it's really beneficial to just go with the first way you know how to do something. Can save you just so much time in the long run instead of being indecisive. So here we're seeing the underground cemetery. I'm not sure if they or if Jupiter even did this location. I don't remember. I don't think they forgot about Galamoth. They were looking at the inner quarters teleporter for a little while. Didn't get too much out of this trip, but did get. I guess they don't know what the book is, so they found a red soul there. They figured they might need to keep it. There's Clock Tower, which is not where they have to go. Taking quite a bit of damage here, though, on these spikes. Making the smart decision to just chug a potion. Let's see where they're teleporting now. So here are the inner quarters. Let's see if they go for death this time. Nope. Tricked you. Vae's playing games with us. Might have just wanted that heal, though. Right, so here Vae remembers the way to get around. So now they'll be checking Galamoth. But it does mean they won't get the final sword. which is a bit unfortunate, but there's no way for them to know that an S tier weapon is going to be unlocked by the shop and not a knife. Nice idea to grab that Khaled ball at the same time. So Vade's seeing now that they have all the souls. Going to be making their way over to Graham. Likely healing first. Probably not confident they can make it back to the teleporter and top floor. It could be 1 or 2 hits away from death. Lubicant, wow. What a drop. We'll see if Vae makes use of any Lubicant strats after. So making their way over to Graham here. While he doesn't have the final sword, the Ascalon is still a perfectly fine weapon for this. Along with the Calibog, of course. You can use the Calibog for this, and you can use the Calibog for Julius. And then you can use the Ascalon rather safely on Chaos. It has a nice arcing pattern, so it's good to hit the little balls away. So it looks like he's saving his MP here for maybe use Manticore strats for later in the fight. Or is he using Lubicant? Might have been setting up for Lubicant. Which is a smart decision. It's tricky, but if you play it well, it really speeds up fights. Ooh, takes a hit from that second phase there, when Graham teleports to the middle and gets his little dark ball shield things. I don't know the name for those. He's taking another attempt at it though. Back down to low HP. Ooh, gets hit by the fireballs there. It's a bit tricky to time. Like, you can hit all the fireballs out at once, but you have to get the sword in the right spot at the right time. But these last fights, of course, are the trickiest in the game. You do have to get quite good at dodging these. Alright, so it's on to this phase again. The counting phase. Here it's going to be like 29 or 30. Oh, he changed his soul, so it's going to be less. It's going to be more. Right, so he makes it to phase 3 here. We're probably going to see some Manticore strats here on the core. Or on the end part of Graham here. Or he turns into some kind of monster somehow. Playing it a little safe. Getting some healing in. Just doesn't want to get destroyed by the hands or the beams. Eats a persimmon. I think Vae's also just trying to save their healing items for chaos after. Alright, and makes it through Graham. Let's see if Vae checks what's behind Graham, because Jupiter did not. There's a super potion, so, you know, Vae's probably pretty happy about doing that one check. And then I imagine Vae will also head to the clock tower warp. Oh, they're heading actually to Hammer to see if there's any healing things they can acquire here. It's not much, there's just potions and puddings. Does have a lot of good stuff to sell though, so he'll be able to get all the potions and puddings he wants. Alright, so now Vae is making their way over to Julius. Should be another tough fight, but we'll see how it takes them, how they do it. I, for one, am excited to get Julius's music again. I think Jupiter's fight was too fast, and I want to hear it more. Again, taking the save. Since you can't have too bad of a fight here, or it'll make chaos too hard. Just going for the straight up Khaled Bog fight again, like they did in the last race. But you can see like how effective this strategy can be, getting those 4 quick hits in with the cancelable sword like that. Because you want to bait Julius into whipping high so you can duck under it to get the last 2 slashes in. It's 5 HP. I mean, you got lubricant, so you know you want to be able to use those that low HP bonus. But just it's so scary. It's so hard. I, for one, would be regretting resetting away that death throw right now. Oh, geez. It's so spooky. Alright, so he gets Julius down here. He doesn't have a ton of healing stuff left, though, so this could be tricky. This could be a tough fight. Decides that they do not need that red soul. Can't really imagine it being useful. The only thing it could possibly be that would be useful would be like a red Minotaur soul. There's a lot of like tricky monsters to avoid in that section. Like that slime that poisoned him is actually really hard to get around without getting hit. The timing is very tight. Oh yeah, that's safe. I like that. You don't want to. You don't usually hit that Shadow Knight, except when you do. Alright, so should be making quick work of these statues with that Vijaya we saw in the last race. It's actually really quite good for this phase, and even for the eyes. But with that Ascalon, I imagine Vae might go for a two-eye strategy. Cause I feel like I remember the Ascalon being pretty safe for Chaos 2. Can just kind of duck and swing. I mean, you still have to deal with the spikes and the Bone Dragon and everything coming at you, but it's really not so bad. Ooh, taking a little hit from that diamond there, but they'll live. Switching to the lubricant here, that makes sense. Just getting out a little bit of extra damage compared to the Minotaur Soul. Takes out one eye there. Looks like he might be going for a 4-eye strat again. They're just switching right to the Ascalon. The dragon comes out right on top of him. That's a little unfortunate. But you can see how you can just kind of crouch and swing, and if they come too close to you, you can just kind of turn around and swing. And generally, you can take it pretty safely. And you see like 27 damage per swing. It's pretty good. And compared to his last fight, where he killed every eye and used the Vijaya, which was with 4 eyes. Ooh, careful. Getting combo. This is pretty tough. Ah, jeez, he got hit into everyone. Got hit into every ball. That's so unfortunate. Let's see if he gives it another attempt here. But I feel like with the equipment that he has, he really had like the right decision there to go for 2 eyes and then use the Ascalon to finish it off. But it's tricky with these shop sanity randos. You're not really guaranteed to get anything good from Hammer for healing. Alright, so he's got low HP, so he can make that lubricant work now. Makes it over that demon. I thought he was done for. Alright, let's see how this goes this time. I'm not sure the jump cancels are faster for this part. Okay, because I think you can get like triple hits with the Vajaya if you position yourself well. Okay, you see, switch to the Ascalon here to kind of stay safe. Ooh, gets comboed again. Still making it work though. Going for the core. I got the 2 eyes down. Now just has to take out the core. We see Vae in chat here, spoiling it a little bit. But I can't blame them. This is such a tough fight. But GG's to Vae. They put up a good fight. They had some trouble finding their books there at the end, and then they also had that tough chaos fight without having a lot of healing. It's really tough to make it through. GG's to them. It was a great attempt. We'll see if they come in for an interview or not. But yeah, GG's to both VaeVictus and GG's to JupiterClimb. They put on a great show here. So I do want to tell you guys to just give them a follow. Let's see, what's the command? Right, we do have another Aria race coming up. Let me see here. See if I can find the schedule. It should be soon. I'm not sure if it's right after this one or if it's a little bit later. It's at 9:30 p.m. EDT. So that race, I think it was it a match 3 between some people or was it something else? Let me check to see who's playing. Right, so the one later is, I believe it's all Raiders versus Simply Done It. I think that's match 2. They had their first match a couple days ago and Simply won. So then we'll be having that. That's going to be on SpeedGaming, the main channel, at 9:30 p.m. So please come check that out later. But thank you so much, guys, for tuning in, and I hope everybody here has a great day.